Hi, I'm Chantel Rodriguez from Millcreek Township.
And I'm Jessica Stutzman. Welcome to the Millcreek Government Channel.
Joining us today is Richard Davis, Artistic Director of the Erie Playhouse, here to share how the Playhouse continues to inspire creativity, build community, and bring the arts to life for all ages. Richard, we're so excited to have you here with us today.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, it's your first time here, so
It is
thank
my
you.
first time on this channel, yes.
We're so happy to have you. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Erie Playhouse, its mission and history, and how long you've been there?
Okay, absolutely. Well, the Playhouse's mission is to entertain, educate, transform, and inspire the community through the theater. Playhouse was founded in 1916 by Henry Vincent, and Mr. Vincent was a composer, an organist. He was the associate conductor of the Chautauqua Symphony at the time, and he founded the Playhouse. They started at the Reed House in 1916, and from there it just sort of took off. They found a more permanent home in 1919 at the Brass Works, which is actually kind of kitty corner right to the Playhouse. It's where the YMCA daycare center is, which is kind of interesting because we're so close to each other now. And then in 1929, they found a permanent home on West 7th Street, and they were there for many years. Mr. Vincent died suddenly in 1941, and the war came, so the Playhouse sort of took a little hiatus for a couple of years, and then Newell Tarrant took over the Playhouse in 1949, I believe that is the correct year. And that was sort of like the, I don't want to say golden age, but when we talk at the Playhouse about all the famous people that have come through the Playhouse, you know, Rue McClanahan and Walter Matthau, Frank Langella, people like that, they came through the Playhouse during Newell Tarrant's time because it was, they would use local talent, but they also would bring in actors from New York to do the shows. And then they left that facility in 1962. They sort of outgrew it a little bit, but also there were some money issues with the Playhouse at that time, so they sold that theater. And then Bill Cohen took over, and the theater moved to Wesleyville and was in Wesleyville for many years. And then that theater, well, it didn't burn down, but there was a fire during one of the shows, the production of The Women, and during Act 1, there was a fire that burned up the light board, so Act 2 of that show never happened. And the Playhouse then was sort of like a nomad for many years until we moved to our new home on 10th Street, which we moved there in 1983, and we've been there on 10th Street ever since then.
Wonderful. And I didn't know that little tidbit that famous actors from New York would come to
many.
Erie. That is new information.
Yeah, many. There's more than that. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. So yeah, and then the Playhouse would also sometimes bring in, when they would be like doing their big season ticket opening of their season, they would bring in famous actors also. Like Ronald Reagan came one time, and they didn't perform, but they were just there, I don't know, to get people to come and enjoy the show. So.
That's fascinating.
No, it's always so cool to see like how many people have gone through just Erie alone, and where they would meet up, or if they would go to the Playhouse, or if they had dinner somewhere. It's like there's little tidbits of facts everywhere.
Yeah, we have really, our archives are really kind of fascinating. They're old and it's all newspapers, but everything from the 30s through probably through the 70s, we have everything on file. And it's when I retire, my goal is to go back to the Playhouse and just start scanning everything so it's online, and not, because it's old newspaper and it crumbles and the books are falling apart. But it's really fascinating to go through and see all the different things, or different reviews on shows and ads and all those things.
I'm looking forward to you doing that then.
And I mean, I know a little bit of your background as far as what you do for the Erie Playhouse, but could you tell our viewers what you do?
Sure. I am the artistic director at the Playhouse, and so I sort of guide the artistic end of the theater along, and the staff, and work to choose the season and try to gear shows that we think will be interesting to people, that we also can manage artistically to create the sets and costumes. I think people think that everything comes in a big box from New York when we do a show, and that is not the case at all. You know, we get the scripts and the music, and that's about all we get from New York. And then everything else we create here locally, the costumes, the sets, the props, all those things have to be created by our staff at the Playhouse. So I've been the artistic director now for a few years, and prior to that, I was the costume designer for many years. That was how I sort of became an employee at the Playhouse. I was the costume designer for 15 years, which started when I got there was a little closet that had a bunch of costumes, and most of them were on the floor my first day. So that sort of has grown into a very large warehouse. If you ever came and saw it, and most people come in and they're like, "Oh my God!" They can't believe it because it just goes on and on. We have, 40 years of costumes that we reuse, and we use them again, which is why we have that, so that if we come around and we do Christmas Carol, and then 10 years later we do Christmas Carol again, well, we still have some of the costumes we can use again for the show. So that's why we have the storage facility that way. Prior to that, though, I just a volunteer at the Playhouse. I started in 1980, yeah. Wizard of Oz. I was an Emerald Citizen, and that was my very first show at the Playhouse. So I've been there for over 40 years.
Wow, that's incredible. And just a little bit of like movie magic, reusing the costumes and whatnot, and just to have your artistic eye in all of it. I've been to a couple plays recently, and I am just so impressed.
Oh, thank you. Well, we do it for love. Playhouse is a special place. We call ourselves the Playhouse family, and it really is a family. And once people get involved, they tend to be there for a while because it's just a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. So this season is your season of soaring tales and epic adventures. What shows have already taken stage in 2025?
Well, we've had 2 shows so far. We opened the season with Waitress, which was very successful. Everyone loved it. It was the cast and production team did an outstanding job. And then a few weeks ago, we had our first youth theater show, which was Pete the Cat, which was a really fun adventure as he took everyone around the world. And actually this evening, we opened The Prince of Egypt, which is the next big show at the Playhouse, which I'm very excited that we're getting to present the show. We're one of the first community theaters that get to produce the show. So we're really excited to have the opening tonight.
That's wonderful. I'm excited. And your crowds, you have great turnouts.
We do, yes.
And like I said, I've just been impressed with the displays that have been put on, and the actors staying after to greet the audience. It's just been a wonderful experience.
Yeah, it really is. Anybody that would want to ever get involved in the Playhouse, I highly recommend that you come down and join us. Our auditions are open to everyone, and we have those on our website. We actually have auditions coming up in a few weeks for the Da Vinci Code, and then shortly after that, auditions for Cats as well. Wow. So right now we're having Cats class on Saturday mornings where we're teaching the audition steps for Cats, which is kind of fun as well. And we've got a great turnout. The first Cats class, the room was so full, there was people in the hallway. There wasn't enough room for everybody in the room. So it's a great way to get involved. And if you don't want to be on stage, we have lots of other volunteer opportunities. We need stage crew, which are very important. If you happen to play an instrument, our orchestra is also all volunteer. Then we have the front of house people as well. We always need ushers and people to work the front of house. So there's lots of volunteer opportunities at the Playhouse.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and talking with the volunteers, and just like when I've gone to the shows myself, there's always an expectation as far as what's the next show. Like they're watching, they're enjoying this show, but they're worrying about what's next. So what are audiences looking forward to coming up next?
We have an amazing season this year with a lot of exciting shows. After The Prince of Egypt, we'll have our youth theater production of The Phantom Toll Booth. And then in June, we open the Da Vinci Code, which we're really excited to present that play. It's going to be an exciting evening. And then this summer, in August, our show is Cats, which is, we haven't done Cats in quite a while, so we're excited to bring that back. And we follow that with one of the most favorite musicals ever, which is My Fair Lady. Then the play The Elephant Man. And then our final youth theater show for this season is Emma. It's a pop musical, so it's Emma, the Jane Austen book, but it's set in a high school, and it's to all girl group music. So it's a real girl power kind of a musical. And then we are so excited that we are closing out our season in the holidays with Frozen, which we're expecting to be a huge hit.
It definitely will be. And, you have a robust social media, following. And I did see that the Phantom Toll Booth was coming next. And I don't know why I pulled out. We just talked before the show started about, our favorite books from school. And that was one of mine. And I am so excited for you guys to do that. So now I'm thinking about how I need to read that book to my daughter. And
so that you can go see the show together.
Yes,
It makes a great thing. Yeah, and we do a lot of work with the schools as well. We do with our youth theater program. We do daytime matinees, so school groups come in, and so that gives a great. We always do try to pick things that have a book or something that teachers can use in conjunction with the show that we're presenting.
And the Erie has a vibrant local theater community. What role does the Playhouse play in this environment?
Well, Playhouse really is like the anchor of the community, theater community. You know, we've been here for well over 100 years, and if you go to any of the other theaters in town, everybody that is there or run the theaters are all Playhouse people. Even all the most of the high school theater directors are all people that have come through the Playhouse. So we're sort of like the teacher, and we really try to help as many people as we can. Also, the other theater groups in town, they rent our scenery and costumes when they need things that we have. So we're really just sort of the anchor of the theater community.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, when somebody starts, as one of your Playhouse family members, they don't leave.
No, they don't. It takes a long. If they do, it's after a while. Like you tend to do when you start. You tend to do show after show after show. I certainly did. I think I did when I first started. I did for 3 years. I did every single show I could do because it's so fun. It's just fun. You're with your friends. You're learning to sing and dance. It's a lot of fun.
Is it scary to audition?
It is scary to audition, and I've been doing it again. I've been doing this for 40 years, and I get nervous auditioning. Everyone does, because you're just in the room and it's usually myself or one of the other directors sitting there watching you. Though we want you to do the best you can do, but it's a nervous. It's hard to do that. Because it's yourself up there versus when you're on stage, you're putting on another character.
Yeah.
So that's easy, and that makes it not so scary because it's not really you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Technically.
Yeah. So it's normal to still get butterflies.
It absolutely is normal to still get butterflies, yes.
Yeah, you can take on a new persona when you're on stage, but when it's you auditioning, it's you authentically putting on for a different character.
Right. And theater people tend to be shy people, which is kind of strange, but they are. I'm actually a very shy person, but if you put me up on stage, that shyness sort of goes away. So.
And I know you mentioned that the Erie Playhouse is like the anchor, but what sets the Playhouse different from other art organizations here local?
I'm trying to, let's see that. Well, I mean, the Playhouse is, again, we've been around for a long time, so we really are again, one of the solid arts organizations in town. And I guess you would say any other arts organization will all tell you that they have a family, but that's really our family atmosphere. Yeah. And we are all inclusive. Everyone's welcome. We'll always find a spot for you if we can to be a part of any show that we can be.
Can I ask when the auditions are held, are you looking for specific age groups or age ranges?
It depends really on the requirements of the show. Some shows have very specific age requirements for the roles, but mostly like our musicals tend to be open to anyone. Our main stage musicals from 14 up to whatever, as long as you can learn a line and learn to dance, or you can be a part of the show. And of course, we're looking for people that are very talented, that can sing really well, but you don't have to have any experience at all. We're used to working with people that have been in multiple shows and people that it's their first time and they're learning everything brand new. So if that's ever something that would keep somebody from auditioning, you should just come down and try it, because we're used to having newbies. So
I love that you said that. That's the question I wanted to ask, was if there needed to be any classical training, before coming in and auditioning.
No, not really. I mean, we look for people that we know that we can teach and that can learn from us. But again, I have people in the Prince of Egypt who are like heavy duty dancers and people that it's their first time. So you're teaching them the basics, but they work with other people, and they eventually by showtime they pick it all up.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. And I know I take away a different experience from different families that all come into the Erie Playhouse. But what's one thing that you hope people take away from an Erie Playhouse experience?
Well, I think that they're entertained, that they felt they spent their money well. Sometimes we choose shows that have a social impact, and we hope that that it opens people's eyes, that it inspires conversation, and maybe changes someone's views on life in that way. And also but if there's somebody that maybe it inspires them to become part of the Playhouse or to become an entertainer, we bring a lot of young people through the theater, and some of them do go on to have professional careers, which is wonderful to get to watch or to get to go see them. The last couple of years I've gotten to go to Broadway to see a couple of the people that have gone through the Playhouse doors, and it's really just awesome to watch them on a Broadway stage. So it's that sort of thing, you know, that it inspires you, changes your life, brings new meaning. I really like the fact that, you know, you bring a group of strangers together. You have 30 people that most of them don't know each other, and you get to watch them as they become a community, as those friendships are made, and you make a friendship that is will last you a lifetime. I really always like that. You don't know who's coming in the door, and it could be somebody that's going to become your best friend for the rest of your life.
And I think that's so sweet that you can build on that culture and kind of have a camaraderie with one another if you guys see each other out in public and you're just like, we're from the Playhouse. Like,
Exactly.
we have a tight-knit
Exactly.
community, and you just bond over that. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
really
And you
nice.
could go away for a couple of years and come back, and then it's like you were never gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's once you're part of the Playhouse, you're always part of the Playhouse.
Can I ask about practice time? So from the time you have the audition and you land the role, how long do the actors practice for, and maybe how many times a week before the show actually happens?
It's usually, for me personally, I usually like to rehearse about 8 weeks for a musical, if I can. Sometimes it gets a little shorter, and it's more like 6, depending on how the timing works in between shows. It starts out kind of like light and builds as it goes, depending on what your role is. So, you know, if you're an ensemble member, we usually start out rehearsing a musical with, you know, learning music, learning all the singing, and then we start the staging after that. And then it's usually a couple rehearsals a week, and then as you get closer to showtime, it becomes almost every day. And usually our rehearsals are in the evening, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock start time, and normally they're about 2.5 hours long. And we usually rehearse Saturday afternoons, not early mornings, late mornings. I don't like to rehearse Saturday morning at all. And it's usually Sundays or afternoons or evenings. But again, and we build the schedule around people's conflicts as well. We ask you when you audition, you know, what days are you available, what days are you not available, and then we try to work around that as much as possible when we're doing that. But sometimes you can't, and then we just have make-up time as well. So, you know, when we review things, and we can fit people in that have missed rehearsal.
That's so cool. I love learning the behind the scenes things. And our show is coming to a close here pretty quickly. But in all of your experiences with the Playhouse, do you have a role or production that was just, you know, stands out as your favorite or stands above the rest?
There are so many. It's really
That's a
there
difficult question.
really are so many. When you look back, I've done well over 200 shows. But for me personally, I was not in this last Beauty and the Beast, which I directed, but the Beauty and the Beast, the very first production, I played Lumiere, which is probably one of my most favorite roles I ever played, and he was a lot of fun to do. Some of my favorite shows, Children of Eden was one of my favorite shows, which is it's about the first act is about the Garden of Eden, and then the second act is about Noah and the flood, and that was just a really wonderful experience with the cast and everyone to create that show. But really, a lot of times it's whatever shows I'm doing right now. That's my favorite show.
Yeah, you're in the moment.
I'm in the moment.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, those are such wonderful, beautiful experiences. So thank you for sharing those with us
thank
and
you.
for coming on the show here with us today.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
So thank you so much to Richard for joining us today on the Millcreek Government Channel. He had so much information on the upcoming shows for the 2025 season, so please check them out, Erie Playhouse, on their Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, as well as their webpage at erieplayhouse.com. So thank you so much, Millcreek, and have a great day.